Maverick 100.9 Aggie Lands Country Alternative. It's Corliss. And I finally get to meet a new artist today. His name is Caleb Young. How are you, Caleb?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful. It is so great to finally meet you and get to chat with you. And it sounds like we've got a few things in common. We are both nominees for the TCMAs this year in November.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that because then get to meet you face to face finally. That'll be great.
I know. As much as I love Zoom, because, I do get to talk to a lot of people that I typically wouldn't have the opportunity to. But man, it's always better just to get to hug people in person.
Yeah, definitely rubbing elbows. I'm real big on face to face because emails, technology, and in general, it doesn't do people justice.
It
So I'm
really
looking forward to
doesn't.
that.
Me too. Well, we're going to talk more about the award show and how all of this came about. But first, we're catching you on the tail end of your single, Homeless, and we're going to take a listen to that. But Caleb, I want you to tell me a little bit about this single because from the title of it, that could go anywhere. What is Homeless about?
Well, I guess to make a long story short, that is a song that I kid you not, I wrote in about 10 to 15 minutes. It's just a good old breakup song, and it's one of those true stories of mine where you're sitting around the next day and just kind of feeling empty. So I always got to thinking about everybody's got that grandmother that's got the crocheted or the knitted sign in their kitchen saying "Home is where the heart is."
Yeah.
And that's where your lead line there to start the song comes from, is just thinking about those things, and you're like, well, I don't have a heart, so I don't have a home. And hopefully, yeah, so hopefully the listeners will appreciate my little play on words there. And
I
yeah,
love
anxious
it.
to see what people think.
I was almost thinking you did it literally because, and I've actually been through this situation this year, not personally, but a friend had to come live with me because her and her boyfriend broke up. And when somebody breaks up, the one person ends up homeless if they were living together. So I thought you were going that route.
Well, I mean, I'm a pretty transparent person, so I've been there, done that before too.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, whether you want to take it just for a generalized term or just, the exacts, I've been there, done that to have my testimony to share. But, that song for me, it's just one of those that the story spilled out on paper. And I'm hoping, that if any of the listeners are going through a moment like that in life, that they can, just relate to it. I mean, I think that's the biggest goal as an artist. You just try to write stories that are relatable for other people that don't feel like they could tell theirs. And, yeah, for those of you that cry in the car with this one, I mean, that's the whole reason. That's the whole reason I wrote
You're
it. So
welcome.
I hope it's cleansing, because that's what it was for me, putting that down on paper. And anyway, yeah, anxious to see what y'all think.
I love that. Well, we're going to give it to him now. This is the debut of Caleb Young on Maverick 100.9 and Homeless. Due to copyright, Brian Broadcasting is not licensed to air this single for you in podcast form, but we urge you to go download and stream it anywhere. Today's interview continues now. Maverick 100.9. You just heard it here first. That was Caleb Young and Homeless. Beautiful new song from Caleb. I've got him here with me. And, we were talking about the Texas Country Music Awards that are coming up in November. Voting is finished, unfortunately, but the song Homeless is actually what is leading you to that award show. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me how that process works. I'm on the radio nominee sides of things, but this songwriter competition actually gets pretty in depth.
Well, so, and, excuse my ignorance, but I know there was around 400 songs entered in that contest or that award race. And to be considered one of the top 10 finalists for that is pretty neat. And then, like I was telling y'all earlier, to know that, basically 10 minutes of your life could turn into something that, is recognized on a platform such as the TCMAs. It was just pretty amazing and humbling. And at the same time, just kind of to add some humor to it, I found out from another artist tagging me on their Facebook post. I mean, I've had my head down working, so I haven't even really paid attention to everything. And so to get introduced to that news by somebody else tagging me on their post is kind of funny. And then it put a smile on my face big time. So I'm looking forward to November. That's for sure.
Well, that's what hard work does, is it pays off. It leads to things like that. And it's funny that you were in that moment of focus and drive. And, you know, I've been there too. My goal is never these trophies. And I've got a few of them. And I'm proud of each and every one of them. But, you know, we work in an industry where we get to change and grow every single day. And that alone is an award worthy performance, you know?
Absolutely. Well, and this, you know, as you're well aware, the music industry is not something that you can that you give yourself much time to take the blinders off. You know, it's usually full steam ahead, doing everything you can to keep the boat afloat. And that's kind of where I've been the last few months to a couple of years now, whatever that looks like. So yeah, to be up for my second nomination. I had one of these a couple of years ago that I was nominated for. So to be there in that ring of honor again is amazing. I'm humbled by it. And like I say, I hope the listeners that just listen to that can appreciate it just like the TCMAs have.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm excited for you. I can't wait to meet you in person. Everyone, if you're interested, the Texas Country Music Awards are at Billy Bob's November 13th, and you can actually get tickets. This is open to the public. You'll see artists like Caleb and Donis Moras and Jesse Robb Jr. and the Wilder Blue, and the list goes on. And it's always a great time. So we always like to urge people. It is a really fun event to be a part of. So if you want to do that, you can check out the Texas Country Music Association.org. It's the same place that you went to vote. You can get your tickets there. And Caleb, I know you've got a lot more coming up this year, so we're very excited for you. We're very excited for the success of your new single, Homeless. And I hope everybody can follow you. This is Caleb Young. Very easy to find. No complicated names. Find him, follow him, download his music, and keep it here to Maverick for more. Caleb, I can't appreciate you enough for coming and sharing the good news on Maverick.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate your time. And then for everybody listening out there, I appreciate y'all's support ahead of time. I always tell people at my live shows, without fans, you know, I'm nothing. That's what makes us or breaks us as an artist. So appreciate y'all looking me up ahead of time. I appreciate your time for having me on air, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. I'll see you in November.